Well, good evening, beautiful friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm with my gorgeous co-host Annie Day, who's written two scrumptious books,
Orgasmic Health and Your Guide to Feeling Fabulous Fast.
Right. Well, those of you who are regular viewers on this channel,
yes, sir,
will know that we hardly ever get to a show without talking about Glastonbury. Annie and I both adore the place.
Absolutely. It's my definite heart's home.
It's certainly my favourite place on the surface of planet Earth. And I think Annie would probably say something similar.
Yeah, it makes my heart sing. As soon as I'm in Glastonbury, you can really feel that it's the heart chakra of the earth. It's really tangible, isn't it? So yes, I love it. I love Glastonbury.
So we thought today we would dedicate a whole show just to talking about Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Go for it, Annie.
Okay, so Glastonbury, this is the short version, is a town in southwest England. It's known for its ancient and medieval sites, many which are rich in myths. Glastonbury Tor is a tower-topped hill linked to Arthurian legend, overlooking the marshy Somerset Levels. Once said to be King Arthur's burial place, Glastonbury Abbey is a ruined monastery dating to the 7th century. Nearby, centuries-old Glastonbury Tribunal has a museum with Iron Age artifacts. Right. Well, I'm glad you do.
Glastonbury is a charming Somerset market town with lots of street art, lots of houses painted with murals. It's also extremely spiritual, with lots of different religious and spiritual paths coexisting together in peace.
Yeah.
That is such a rare thing, isn't it?
Oh, it really is, isn't it? Like the last time I went for we went for the fairy ball in October, and there was Harry Krishnas on the street. There were Christians coming in and out the church and everything in between. And then they had the dragon procession on the Sunday morning. Yep. So, you know, there was a lot of different spiritual beliefs, but all of us were just really happy to be in that place.
All getting on together. All making
absolutely.
Nobody's saying, yeah, my way's the only way.
Yeah, you can only get to God through me.
Hell.
I don't think so.
I love the place.
And me.
Glastonbury stands on the famous and very powerful Michael Ley line, which runs right across England from St Michael's Mount in Cornwall to Hopton-on-Sea on the Norfolk coast.
Yes.
To really understand Glastonbury, you have to understand its origins.
Yeah, absolutely, darling.
The clue as to why so many people have been drawn to Glastonbury over the years goes back well over 2 millennia.
Yeah.
We talk about the Isle of Avalon. We talk about the Isle of Avalon.
Yeah.
Because of course Glastonbury was an island before the Somerset Levels were drained in the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
And of course it's to this island in legend that King Arthur was supposed to have been taken after the Battle of Camlan to heal his wounds. Legend has it that he lies under the Tor still, resting until Britain has need of him again. You better get
time now, then. Come on.
The place has always been sacred to Druids, who still meet on the Tor for solstices and equinoxes.
Yeah.
And I've had the privilege of being amongst them.
Just amazing energy, isn't it?
A cornerstone legend of the area is that Joseph of Arimathea was supposed to have come here with Mary Magdalene in the years following the crucifixion. He was a metal trader, so he may very well have visited the tin mines of southwest Britain many times. It's also suggested he may have come earlier with the baby Jesus, although that's just a story. Nobody can verify it, but it may very well be true.
Yeah, I've got a book and it's called The Magdalen Manuscript and the Sex Magic of Isis, and they go into quite a lot of historical detail and mythological detail as well. So I do really believe that that was the case. I really do.
I think there's a very good chance of it. Yeah. I mean, he disappeared from the surviving records, let's put it that way, for what was it, 13 years or something, I think? I can't remember. And nobody knows what he did during those years. And it's probable, I would say probable, almost certain, that he went to various spiritual sites around the world and studied with the spiritual leaders there.
And he would have had Mary Magdalene with him as his wife as well, which may be controversial to some people, but I've known it for a long time that she was not a hooker. She was a really spiritual goddess.
I'll go into that in quite a bit in a few minutes. But yeah, I don't think she'd have been with him when he came as a child, but she may very well have been with him later.
When she was an adult, yeah, for sure. There's a message from Andrew.
Oh yeah.
And did those feet in ancient times is basically what he's done.
Do you want to sing
that?
There
was nobody else in as far as I could see, darling.
Do you want to sing that to us, Andrew?
You do come up with some challenges for me.
I do.
I love it.
And did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the Holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills? And was Jerusalem builded here among these dark satanic mills?
Yeah.
Bring me my cup of burning gold. Bring me my arrows of desire. Bring me my spear, oh clouds unfold. Bring me my chariot of fire. I'm losing it. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Well done, Andrew. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But I've made you co-host, Annie.
Sure.
Christians like to think that Joseph of Arimathea built the first Christian church in Britain.
Yeah. But
of course, he wouldn't have been a Christian, would he? Christianity hadn't even been invented back then. He may very well have been a Nazarene.
Yes, that's far more likely, isn't it?
Or a follower of the Church of Jesus and James.
Yeah.
But nothing that modern Christians would recognize. There are stories of King Arthur and Guinevere being buried here in the 6th century, and I'll talk a lot about that later.
Okay.
This is just a very quick run through of the history. 1539 saw the dissolution of the monastery by Henry VIII. The last abbot of Glastonbury, Richard Whiting, was hung and drawn and quartered on the top of the Tor.
Yeah.
Much later, Glastonbury became popular with Victorian age mystics.
Yes.
And in the 1970s, the festival was started. Locals call Glastonbury the little town with a big story.
Massively.
It needs to be said, however, that the current Glastonbury Festival was not the first.
Indeed.
In 1914, composer Rutland Boughton established the original Glastonbury Festival in the Assembly Rooms.
Wow.
It featured dance, music, and literature.
Yay! All our favourite things.
Attracting luminaries such as Elgar, George Bernard Shaw, and Thomas Hardy.
Wow.
Apparently, Rutland Boughton was quite a rebel. He was unconventional in a lot of ways, and some local people found it quite upsetting that there were all these bohemians wearing corduroy trousers, can you imagine?
Oh my goodness me, no!
And some even wearing knickerbockers. If only they
How
could
scandalous.
if only they could see the town now.
But
Glastonbury.
even at that time, I think that as soon as you get into Glastonbury or even close to it, it is very obvious that the veil between the physical and the spiritual world is very, very thin in Glastonbury, isn't it?
Oh, very, very thin indeed. Very thin. It is the easiest place in the world to see fairies.
Oh, massively, darling. And dryads and all sorts of luscious, beautiful creatures.
Glastonbury has lots of healing wells and springs.
Yeah.
It's said there are 9 sacred springs of Avalon, and one is situated behind Healing Waters Sanctuary,
Yeah.
which is run by a lovely friend of mine, Juliet Yalberton,
Yeah.
who is an accomplished trauma therapist. Have you met her, Annie?
No.
You must meet Juliet Yalberton. She is a legend.
Set it up for me, darling. The water.
Yeah, yeah. In addition to her trauma work, Healing Waters offers a wide range of therapies, or you can just stay in the guest house.
Yeah.
I'll put a link below in the description if you want to follow it up.
Lovely.
She has some special offers running until March. In addition to the special offers on the guest house, the 3-night stays in the guest house, Juliet is also running for a very limited time a special offer on her 16-week trauma healing program, online trauma healing program. So grab it while it's going. It's absolutely brilliant. I think it's only 97 quid or something like that. I'll put the links below in the description so you can check it out for yourselves. I never buy anything at full price. I always wait for the New Year offers. So grab this one while it's going. There is no more magical place to stay in Glastonbury. If you want to come and see the town, you must stay at Healing Waters Sanctuary. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And Juliet also runs Healing Gardens, a remarkable community garden project where you will be most welcome to volunteer and take food away. Healing Gardens is 100% organic, using well-established permaculture and no-dig principles.
Nice.
The site is situated on the side of Wiriel Hill, where Joseph of Arimathea is said to have arrived by boat and planted the Glastonbury thorn.
Yeah, that sadly was cut down a few years ago, wasn't it, Jack?
It was vandalized. There are some people in the town, unfortunately, who need a lot of healing.
Yes. Hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah. Joseph of Arimathea, who is reputed to be the uncle of Jesus, came ashore here. He's always depicted with a staff.
Yeah.
And apparently he planted his staff in the ground, which took root,
Yeah.
as hawthorns so easily do.
Yeah.
There are no as Annie said, the original one has been vandalized. But there are now many descendants of this hawthorn all over the town.
Yeah.
Taken from cuttings. Weight is given to the legend by the fact that the Glastonbury thorn is in fact a Mediterranean subspecies which flowers twice a year.
Indeed. And my good friend Sue and Simon Lilly of Green Man Essences were making Glastonbury thorn essences, and they've still got the mother tincture from the Glastonbury thorn.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah, people still take tinctures from the one in Chalice Well and also from the one in St John's Church.
Yeah, absolutely, darling.
And there's several others around the town, and you can tell when you go there at Christmas. I mean, I've just been there, for Christmas, for Yule and the New Year. I was lucky; I spent 3 weeks over the New Year. And
yay! I'm very envious, Jack.
I know you are. It was the most fantastic experience of my life, and I can attest to the fact that those thorns were in flower.
Yeah, massively.
They're called the hawthorn in England. In Britain, we call it the May, the old village name for the May, because it flowers in May, not in December.
Yeah. This
is not the same species, the same subspecies that we have here. It's not our native species.
No.
It's a Mediterranean subspecies.
Yeah.
The Avalon marshes, which surround the town, have supported human settlements since Neolithic times. Glastonbury Tor has been visited for thousands of years.
Love it.
And is littered with Iron Age artifacts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not all it's littered with these days, but that's another story.
And it's certainly worth visiting for yourself if you're going to Glastonbury, or just driving along the M5 until you spot a massive green hill with remains of a historic tower standing proudly on the top. The tower itself is in fact a Grade 1 listed building, St Michael's Tower, which was built on the site in the 14th century.
Yeah.
But it's very iconic, isn't it? You know, if you talk about Glastonbury, people think about that iconic photo of the Tor and
the Tor and St Michael's Tower. It's the first thing everybody thinks about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the first thing I look for every time I arrive.
Yeah.
When I see that, I know I'm home.
Yeah. And the Tor is mentioned in Celtic mythology, particularly in myths linked to King Arthur, and has several other enduring mythological and spiritual associations. The conical hill of clay and blue lias rises from the Somerset levels. It was formed when surrounding softer deposits were eroded, leaving the hard cap of sandstone exposed. The slopes of the hill are terraced, but the method by which they were formed remains fairly unexplained. Archaeological excavations during the 20th century sought to clarify the background of the monument and church, but some aspects of their history remain unexplained. Artifacts from human visitations have been found dating from the Iron Age to the Roman eras. Several buildings were constructed on the summit during the Saxon and early medieval periods. So the head of a wheel.
It's probable there were buildings, wooden buildings, wattle buildings, even before the Saxons.
Yeah, I'm sure, darling.
In fact, one legend that I particularly like says that Merlin once made his home on the Tor.
Yeah, and I'd love to believe that as well.
I'd love that to be true.
Yeah,
I would love that to be true.
So the original wooden church was destroyed by an earthquake in 1275, and the stone church of St Michael's built on the site in the 14th century. Its tower remains, although it has been restored and partially rebuilt several times. But it is still
There
stunning.
are several images. Sorry. There were several images inlaid in the walls of the tower, St. Michael's Tower.
Yeah.
One of which, a milkmaid, could very well represent the goddess Bridget, or Breed,
Absolutely.
later adopted by the church as Saint Bridget.
Yeah, absolutely. Us Celtic goddesses getting everywhere, Jack.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a pagan site long before Christians arrived.
Oh, absolutely.
Long, long, long before. I mean, you can imagine back in the day when the Somerset levels were flooded.
Yeah.
If you go up there now, early morning, when the town is shrouded in mist,
yeah,
you can imagine how it would have looked when it was water up to that level.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And the fact that you can see so many counties once you're up at the top of the tour is incredible. That view is stunning. It really is stunning.
The most wonderful thing I think I ever saw was the sun coming up on solstice morning, summer solstice morning, from the tour. And I actually did a little. I've told you about this. I did a little ritual where I actually walked through because there's a back entrance and a front entrance.
Yeah.
You can walk straight through.
Yeah.
I walked straight through towards the rising sun.
Wow.
And it was
That's amazing, Jack.
It was the most beautiful experience. Have you got anything else on the tour before we move on?
No, that was all really, other than it's a great place to be belly dancing. And also quite often when I've frequented the tour, there's been people doing sound healing, there's been people chanting and singing and drumming, and it does attract the most scrumptious people.
Yeah, when I went up for the summer solstice, there was a guy who'd actually gone up on a bicycle with a huge harp.
Wow. Wow.
I half saw him in the dark before, struggling up the steps with this struggling up the path with this harp. And I had no idea what he had. I could see he had something big.
Yeah.
And when I got up there, at the foot of the tour, there are two of the most famous springs of Glastonbury. The White Spring and the Red Spring, better known as Chalice Well. I'll mention it in a minute. The colour of the white spring water comes from, as you just said, Annie, the blue lias limestone rocks that form the geology of the tour.
Yeah.
Until very recently, the custodians of the White Spring were two friends of mine, Lisa and Max Goodwin.
Okay.
Who still live in the cottage there. Now, this is why I wanted to know whether they were there, because I had invited them to come on and actually talk about the White Spring. But they haven't come, so not to worry. We'll muddle on without them. Perhaps they'll come another time. I think we're going to have to do another show about this. There's so much to talk about Glastonbury. And the
temple has been created and gives us the gift of this beautiful pure water. But it's a Victorian-built well house that nettles beneath Glastonbury Tor. Was ideal for this purpose, a blessing indeed. Cavernous and set apart in blackness or candlelit, mysterious it remains. A wonderful contrast to the sunlit gardens of the Chalice Well. The interior consists of 3 domed vaults, which are 16 feet high, with beautiful bowed floors like the hull of a boat, moored to the portal of the other world. With its constant temperature and the sound of the perpetually flowing water, it is a really unique and sacred space. A series of pools have been built according to the principles of sacred geometry.
Oh, yes.
And it is luscious water. You can really tell the difference between the White Well and the Chalice Well Gardens. The water at the Chalice Well has got a lot of iron in, hasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it's very, very different. Before we move on to Chalice Well,
Yeah.
I will just mention that Lisa and Max also run the Wizards of Avalon Mystery School.
Yeah.
And if anyone's interested in working with them, I've done some work with them that's really inspiring. I'll put their link in the description as well.
Okay.
Chalice Well
Yay!
is nestled between two hills, the Tor and Chalice Hill.
Yeah.
As Annie just said, the red spring water comes from farther away from the Mendips, where it picks up its colour from the iron deposits there. The Chalice Well gardens are beautifully kept, and being a peace garden, the energy is absolutely enchanting.
Oh, it so is, isn't it, Jack? I've literally gone into the Chalice Well gardens as soon as they've opened, and before I know it, it's 4:30 and it's it's time to close. It's a beautiful, beautiful spiritual place, but I think for me anyway, it does a lot of heart healing.
Yeah.
There's so many trees, particularly yew trees, as we know I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
But all the plants and just the way that the Chalice Well garden set up, Jack, is incredible, isn't it? It really is.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I've been there several times. I've fallen asleep in there meditating, and it's just wonderful. And it's I'll mention later on that it's been a great healer for me as well at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a place of great quiet and peace.
Yeah.
One of the most sacred places in the whole of Glastonbury, in my opinion. Because, of course, before everything else was built, the spring and the other 8 sacred springs were already flowing and were already being used by the local people. The Mesolithic hunter-gatherers would have collected their water here and held sacred rituals here.
Yeah, for absolute certainty. You
can purchase little bottles at the entrance, or you can bring your own and take some of the Chalice Well home. I do, yeah. The iron-rich water is good for anything to do with the blood, kidneys, and liver.
Yeah.
And also anything to do with the heart, and I can testify to that one.
Yeah, absolutely, sweetheart.
Locals come in their car and fill up huge containers of the water, which flows out of the wall into the streets.
Yeah.
So some locals only drink Chalice Well water. They won't drink anything else.
Yeah.
And who can blame them?
Yeah.
I was quite poorly the first time I came here, and the waters healed me. Well, perhaps not forever, but for the rest of that day.
Yeah. Yeah, you've told me about that in the past. You were really feeling quite low, weren't you?
I was feeling very, very low, both physically and I sat in the gardens for a couple of hours and drank the water, drank a couple of pints of the water. And the next thing I knew, I was going up the Tor.
Wow.
Now, that is a miracle cure. That is a miracle cure by anybody. And I have absolutely no doubt that if I could have kept taking those waters on a regular basis for a few months, I'd have been permanently cured.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
In fact, I've since been diagnosed as having anemia.
Yeah, so you need lots of iron.
Iron-rich water. That's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, without a doubt, sweetheart.
The well lid bears the symbol of the Vesica Pisces.
Yeah.
The 2 overlapping circles.
Beautiful bit of sacred geometry.
That many say is the wrong way round here and should be rotated through 90 degrees. That the 2 circles should be next to each other and overlapping, not one above the other and overlapping. But I'm not going to get involved in that.
Yeah.
The 2 circles can represent the material and spiritual worlds, the yin and the yang, and of course the sacred marriage, or Horus Gamos. Alice Buckton purchased the well and its surrounds in 1913.
Yay!
The Chalice Well Trust was formed by Wesley Tudor Pole in 1959.
Yeah.
As a charity and non-profit making organisation.
Indeed.
Now, as Annie has mentioned, and I'm sure she's particularly excited, there are 2 magnificent yew trees.
Yes.
And they
They called to me, Jack, as soon as I walked through that entrance. Showed them my card to say I'm a friend of the Chalice Well Gardens. Those trees are going, come on, Annie Day, come on, give us a hug.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to give those trees a hug. You can't go without giving those 2 trees a hug.
They're so tactile, aren't they, Jack? And so magical. They really, really are.
As you regular viewers will know, we did a special story about a show about connecting with trees just before Christmas, I think it was.
Yeah, sure.
So look that up. We did a whole hour talking about this stuff.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
We love trees, don't we?
Yews represent timelessness and immortality.
Indeed.
And I was very, very privileged a few weeks ago when Annie Day took me to meet her favourite yew tree.
I did. The lovely Eloine. It was extraordinary, wasn't it, Jack?
That was the most magical experience I've had in a long time.
Oh, I'm so pleased. So pleased about that.
The waterfall at the Chalice Well is one of the places where the Michael and Mary energies cross.
Yeah.
It's a place of great balance of yin and yang.
Indeed.
There's another holy thorn growing here out of the descendants of the original one.
Yeah. Which is great news.
And people often take the flowers and make tinctures out of them.
Yeah.
People are often drawn to Glastonbury for healing, and it can have a powerful effect, but it can also be a bit much to handle. And I must admit, I was completely overwhelmed on my first visit. And I was bombarded with past life images and
oh wow.
The first visit, it was just too much.
Yeah.
I just had to get away. I mean, I go back now as often as I can, and it's quietened down. But that first visit I was completely overwhelmed by it. So
yeah,
do be aware if you're going to Glastonbury that the energies are very, very strong there.
Yeah. I think because I work with fairies and elementals so frequently, probably my transit on that first time was a lot easier.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just because I had their joyful energy and I had them to ground me and so on. So
well, I've been working with the energies, doing esoteric work for decades, and it caught me by surprise.
That veil in between the spiritual and physical world is very, very thin in Glastonbury, isn't it? We said earlier, really is.
Coming down off the tor by the back path, you pass through Bushy Coombe with its majestic small-leaved lime trees. Have you seen those, Annie?
Yes. Sorry, I was glugging my ginger tea.
Where's mine?
Come on then.
The Tibetan prayer wheels on Dodds Lane are traditionally turned clockwise by passing pilgrims.
Yeah.
Please feel free to turn them as you pass.
Yeah.
I always like to go there and say a prayer.
Yeah. And it's a good place for setting your intentions as well for, what you want
That's
to.
what prayers are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Intentions.
Yeah.
It all depends who you think you're praying to, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm praying to the universe or my own higher self, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah. I've got something here. It says the Chalice Well is sometimes called the Blood Well. Its waters constantly flow at 25,000 gallons per day and at a constant temperature of 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The well today, surrounded by beautiful gardens in the Summerlands, where Tennyson wrote the island valley of Avalon, where falls not hail or rain or any snow. Water diviners and specialists have reported that the spring has a primary origin, which comes from deep within the earth. The dowser Sig Lonergan has doused many sites around the world, and he says the water doesn't come from above, it comes from below, and so is not dependent on rainfall and begins its existence deep within the bowels of our mother, the earth.
Mm. Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to talk about, there's loads of shrines in honor of the ancient energies and spirits of Avalon in the gardens.
Yeah, please do, yes.
They're all enhanced, as Jack's already beautifully, eloquently said, by the ley lines known as the Michael line, which flows through the place, and honours Bridget as guardian, Our Lady of Avalon, the king of the realm of the fairy, and their ancient presence in this sacred space. The companions of the White Spring, men and women who give their time and expertise freely, have designed, built, and created the temple and continue to care for it, inspired and greatly helped by the blessings of nature spirit. Many groups, pilgrims, and local people from a wide diversity, let me find my place, from a wide diversity of backgrounds and traditions have come to appreciate the blessings of this beautiful sacred space. So I would advise anybody who goes to Glastonbury, come and enjoy the White Spring during the normal hours or for ceremonies and meditations. And then also they do ceremonies within the Chalice Well garden as well, particularly at the turning of the seasons and at the full and the dark moons. In keeping with the sense of sacredness at the White Spring, there is no charge or expectation of donations.
Yeah, we need to just say that the Chalice Well is also non-profit. That you do have to pay to go in, but
that's just to maintain.
They have a lot of expenses in keeping up the magnificent grounds.
Absolutely. So all of that is fed back into the Chalice Well gardens, and they're all volunteers that look after it as well, which I really like that guardianship. I think that's really beautiful.
Absolutely. I will just say that if you stay at Healing Gardens, my friend's place, you can also do ritual in the sacred spring there.
Yeah.
They call it the Mother Spring, and it's surrounded by bushes, and it's on the land just behind the guest house. And
sounds amazing, Jack.
I go there whenever I can. And meditate and do ritual there. It's absolutely beautiful.
Really is.
The most gorgeous energies.
Yeah.
St. John's Church on the High Street and St. John's Churchyard hold the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Although I don't suppose anyone dug it up to check he's there. But I think there's a good chance that all that is true. I really do.
No, I'm willing to believe in the magic of our earth, because it is magical.
Yeah. The tomb has been worn smooth by pilgrims touching it for the hundreds of years that it's been there. Some people also say that the two granite or limestone, I can't remember now, big boxes there, are actually where the bones of Arthur and Guinevere were moved to.
And again, that wouldn't surprise me, Jack. That's in keeping with a lot of the research I've done previously on Arthur and Guinevere, basically. Yeah. So yeah, that would make sense to me.
Cuttings are taken from the Glastonbury thorn, the one in St. John's Church, to the Queen or now the King's table each Christmas.
Oh, wow.
I love the high street with its beautiful artisan shops, crystal shops, occult shops, bookshops, vegetarian cafes, and charming pubs.
Oh, yes.
Mm. Right, should we talk? Do you want to talk a little bit about that, or shall we move straight on to Glastonbury Abbey?
I have got something on Glastonbury Abbey. I wondered if I could just quickly talk about the Goddess Temple.
Yeah.
It's registered as a place of worship and has been since 2003, bringing the goddess alive in her world. It's open 365 days in Glastonbury, Avalon, and offers beautiful healing ceremonies, meditation, and all sorts of other scrummy things as well.
Yep, absolutely gorgeous place.
Really is.
They also own that little place by St. Benedict's Church, don't they?
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
Lovely, lovely people.
Yeah, indeed, darling.
Glastonbury Abbey, the supposed burial place of the legendary King Arthur and Guinevere.
Yes, sir. The Abbey.
We mentioned the St. Michael's ley line at the start of the show, which runs right through the Abbey, as does the Mary current.
Yeah.
These two great serpents representing the yin and the yang, which
Yes,
is
sir.
present in everything, and which the ancients were well aware of.
Yeah. It's connected with legend to a degree that is really unparalleled, Jack, isn't it?
Oh,
By
there's nowhere else in the world.
any other abbey in England. Since medieval times, the abbey has held legendary status as the earliest Christian foundation in Britain, linked to Joseph of Arimathea and the burial place of King Arthur. Today, it is a tranquil setting where you can discover the stories, explore the 36 acres of ground, and enjoy a range of events and activities. And it just looks stunning, doesn't it, Jack?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to go there.
The atmosphere.
You've got to go there. You've got to see it for yourself. But I've got lots of pictures I'm going to put up on this video.
Wonderful, Jack.
Before it goes
Very
live.
pleased to hear that.
The Mary current goes through lots of churches, all dedicated to St. Mary.
Yeah.
What a coincidence. Which of course it is.
Darling, synchronicity.
Of course, the question which most people don't generally ask is which Mary?
Yes.
We assume it's Mary the Mother, but I'm sure a lot of them are the other one.
I'm sure they're Mary Magdalene. She's got a very, again, there's a lot of history and mythology about her being there. So, yeah, and as I said, that book that I read, I don't know how many years ago, probably about 20 years ago, and it was called the Magdalen Manuscripts and the Sex Magic of Isis. And it's written by Tom Kenyon, but it's all about their love story, basically. So
I'll put a link to that in the description. That's
okay, Don, that'd be wonderful.
We usually do, don't we? You normally recommend a few books.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a book girl, aren't I? I'm a book girl.
We talk a lot about St. Michael and St. George, the two dragon slayers. And there is an important esoteric meaning behind those themes. That is the solar logos coming down and connecting with the earth.
Indeed. Indeed.
So the yin and the yang go around the central axis like a caduceus. And every now and again they cross. And where they both meet, such as in Glastonbury, that's when the yin and yang become perfectly balanced.
Wonderful, isn't it? Really is stunning.
You wonder why the energies are so great there, you know, it's just
the balance of yin and yang, male and female. So it's
let's just talk about ley lines. I mean, these people hadn't got any idea about ley lines when they put these things up. They just knew that the energies were great there.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just felt the energy and knew this is the place to build.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going back to the pagans long before the Christian churches were put on the same sites.
And they sensed and doused for what was the meridians of the earth and went, oh, this has got really positive energy in. There's so that the whole of our country is replete with ley lines.
Yeah,
are really positive.
It's where the Mary and Michael lines cross. These are the places where the real sacred marriage happens, as represented in the Vesica Pisces.
Yeah, indeed.
Which is the symbol of Chalice Well, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
The Mary current goes right down the axis of the Abbey.
Yeah.
Pointing straight towards Stonehenge.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that. It's pointing straight at Stonehenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
and it's a
in the
massive,
direction.
massive abbey, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, incredible.
If you got the dimensions there, just out of interest, when we were talking hundreds of meters.
Let's see if I have. I'm not sure if I have, Jack. Let's have a look quickly.
Doesn't matter. I'll stick it on the. I'll stick it on the replay.
Oh, it's got 38 acres of grounds.
Yeah. I mean the actual
for the measurements.
Yeah. Okay.
But not for the actual abbey building itself.
Yeah. We were talking about Mary Magdalene earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because we both love Mary Magdalene and the energy she represents. Now, I believe she was Jesus's high priestess.
Yeah.
Even the Bible called her the apostle of the apostles.
Yeah.
But she's so underrated nowadays.
Yeah. Not for all of us, though.
When Jesus was declared a god by the Council of Nicaea, they tried to demote Mary Magdalene to the level of a prostitute, as you said earlier.
Yeah, what a load of rubbish.
Absolutely bollocks.
Thank you, Jack. That's the word I was going to use as well. Basically, excuse me, but frankincense has always been the most expensive oil, and it is to this day. It is very, very expensive. And you're telling me that a hooker anointed Jesus's hands and his head with this incredibly expensive essential oil? No,
I don't think so.
No, I'm not buying that. Sorry, guys. No, you're completely no.
Nowhere does the Bible say she was a prostitute.
No, not at all.
Invented by the Council of Nicaea.
Yes, indeed. We can't have the girls. We can't have the girls being helpful with our spirituality, can we? It's got to be the boys.
Indeed, the Catholic Church has recently apologized for tainting her reputation.
Oh, that was big of them.
Yeah.
Or not.
There's a depiction of Joseph of Arimathea in the Abbey, who may well have built the first wattle building here.
Yeah.
Which over the course of hundreds of years gradually developed into a small abbey, and then a larger one, and a larger one. He's pictured here with his flowering thorn.
Sounds good, Jack.
There is a descendant of the Glastonbury thorn in the Abbey grounds.
Indeed.
And there are several of them around the town, as we've already said.
Yeah, there are, darling. Yeah, there's loads.
There's a lovely one in St. Benedict's Church as well.
Yeah.
One of the most sacred places in Glastonbury is the Lady Chapel.
Yeah.
Now, I will put some pictures up of the Lady Chapel. The Lady Chapel, this is what we're really talking about, the Lady Chapel, which goes, it's huge, and it goes straight towards Stonehenge.
Yeah. Almost like those people knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, of course they did. And a lot of cathedrals, you have a Lady Chapel.
Yeah, indeed.
She's either slightly behind the altar, the high altar, or very often underneath it.
Yeah.
Because the lady is Mother Earth.
Yeah. That's the one. Gaia.
So they're going to get down into the earth to commune with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah, well, it's so necessary for our earthing and grounding, isn't it?
Christianity, like all religions, has always had its esoteric wing.
Yeah.
Which were probably the Knights Templar and also the Cathars.
Yeah, without a doubt, darling.
They understood this esoteric stuff.
Yeah.
They had a deeper wisdom that is kept away from the ordinary people.
Yeah.
And that's why they were wiped out.
And also, they used all their esoteric knowledge in their everyday daily life, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, Andrew's just put the Gnostics.
The Gnostics, yeah, the Gnostics.
So, yes, very exciting stuff.
Frederick Bly Bond was an architect, archaeologist, author, and editor who excavated Glastonbury Abbey in the 1920s. He understood this esoteric stuff.
Indeed, he did.
So let's talk a little bit about the eggstone at Glastonbury Abbey. It needs to be said that there's also been ones found up on the Tor.
Yeah.
There's one at Glastonbury Abbey in the vicinity of the Lady Chapel. Clearly, it's a non-Christian stone. It's probably an oracle stone.
Yeah.
The priestess would sit while menstruating.
Yeah.
Because that's when she was in tune with the earth the most.
Yeah.
And the flows and the cycles was when she went within.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a depression on the top of the stone where her menstrual blood may well have been collected for ritual use.
Yeah.
It's been recorded in other locations, so why not here?
Yeah. And it was said to have magical properties as well, that menstrual blood.
Absolutely. It's usually
and why would it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know it has magical properties, don't we? It's full of energy.
Yeah.
The kitchen. It's far more than a kitchen. Yes, it was used as a kitchen later on. Absolutely. But this is more than a kitchen. The energies in here are incredible. Yeah. And the acoustics are excellent.
Oh, they are. They're brilliant. Indeed.
Imagine if you had 30 odd people working in there in a kitchen.
Yeah.
With the sound echoing around. It would have been deafening. It wasn't designed as a kitchen.
No.
You've been there, haven't you? You know what it's like. You've
I do.
Those energies.
Yeah. No, it's got the most beautiful, incredible energies, Jack, for sure.
You've got to go there, Andrew, and you've got to try those energies.
Andrew would love it, wouldn't he? Yeah, for sure.
You'd really feel them, Andrew. You really would in there.
Yeah.
The graves of Arthur and Guinevere, as we have mentioned, were reportedly found in the Abbey grounds in 1191.
Yep.
They said that the male skeleton was, I can't remember exactly, 8 or 9 feet tall, something like that.
Yeah.
Giant of a man.
Giants. Nephilim.
We did one on giants, didn't we? A few months ago. We did a show on giants a few months ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, this skeleton, if it ever existed, was huge.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have the actual skeletons today. That would be too simple.
Yes, they were destroyed, or they lost them. Oh, the museum lost them. Oh, don't be ridiculous. What do museums do? Look after things and archive them. So yeah.
Well, I think there's a
reason why they've been lost, or
I think there's a good chance they're in St. John's Church.
Do you?
Mm.
Okay.
So, if it proves nothing else, it certainly proves that the Arthurian legends were alive and running.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Of course, skeptics would say, and they may be true, that the monks merely saw a great opportunity to cash in on the pilgrim trade. But I could hardly comment.
Well, so what if they did? Does it matter?
Not really.
No. As long as we've still got that story, and although we've got that, we've got all these wonderful places to visit, I don't really think it matters. That's my own viewpoint.
if you get a chance, do you have any more stuff on the Abbey while we?
No, I've got the Somerset Rural Life Museum and the Mural Trail.
Right, go for that.
Okay, so the Somerset Rural Life Museum is situated in Glastonbury. It is a museum of the social and agricultural history of Somerset, housed in buildings surrounding a 14th century barn once belonging to Glastonbury Abbey.
Right, it's a beautiful building.
Massively, isn't it?
I've never actually been inside though, I must confess.
And then I've got things on the mural trail. I absolutely adore all the murals that are, you know, on all those walls. They are beautiful pieces of art.
Oh yeah.
You know, people call it graffiti. It's not. It's mural art. Let's call it what it is. So for those of you who are not familiar with the mural trail, it is a collection of over 50 artworks that adorn walls in all areas of the town, painted by local, national and international artists. The artworks are available for all to view free of charge, and the project is ever evolving. It's curated, curated, not created, curated. It was curated by Kim von Kugels, who is the gallery manager, who has spent many hours making it happen. The mural trail was a very rewarding project to work on. I really enjoyed having the opportunity to enable such fabulous art all over Glastonbury town. Although it can be quite hard work at times, the positive feedback from the community and visitors makes it all worth it. And I get that completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the rest of the stuff I've got is on restaurants and cafes and lovely places to eat.
Yeah, go on. Where do you recommend, Annie?
Rainbow's End Cafe is my very, very favourite. Well, no, actually, 100 Monkeys is my very favourite as well. So they do local, fresh, scrumptious cuisine for all the family. It's a little tiny alleyway, but when you go out the back, normally you have to queue for food because it is such good quality vegetarian food, basically, and vegan as well. But they do gluten-free, the best gluten-free carrot cake on the earth, basically, at Rainbow's End. But they were established over 35 years ago. But once you're in the cafe, you can walk out to the gardens, and they've got a beautiful goddess statue with a waterfall and just the most beautiful artifacts. But everybody who works there, it's a little family business. So they all know exactly what they're doing and what the idea is. So it's internationally renowned. It's won lots of awards. And it is, their secret garden is the perfect spot to sample some of the famous homemade dishes. With a menu drawing upon influences from all over the world, they pride themselves on supplying the highest quality whole food at excellent affordable prices. And then I've got Mockerberry Cafe. It catch the early morning sun, neck a serious veggie breakfast to cure the morning after the night before. They do luscious, gluten-free, dairy-free, scrumptious food served by lovely, friendly people. Great food, space, and an atmosphere. Lovely little cafe. So I don't know whether to do the normal for Glastonbury, or whether just to carry on with all this. So on the 21st of October last year, I went down to Glastonbury because it was my birthday weekend and also the fairy ball in Glastonbury. And I went into Mockerberry, and they've got beautiful spelt bread, which makes it really easy for me to eat, and all sorts of luscious, amazing things. So when it got time to pay, I said I wanted to pay for Rachel, my friend's breakfast on my birthday, for facilitating us getting there, basically. And then a man behind me he said, are you paying for my breakfast as well? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, no. I was only being cheeky. And I said, no. I really want to do this. Now you've said it, please don't take any money from this man, who we've since learnt is called John. So again, this is an example of normal for Glastonbury. So I paid for this man's breakfast. He came and chatted to us, and we were telling him about, we were going to the fairy ball in the evening, and he was saying that he lived in Glastonbury, never had a television, hadn't got a phone, or other than a landline, basically. Isn't on any apps or anything else. So the next day, when we went for breakfast after the fairy ball, this man was there again, and he said, I usually am a man of routine and I do all my housework on a Sunday, but I just knew that you and Rachel were going to be here. And I wanted to tell you that I tried really hard last night to get into the fairy ball because I wanted them to sing happy birthday to Annie. And I was so moved by it. He was telling us all the trouble he went to actually do that. And they said, no, you can't do that. And then he waited outside for us at midnight to come out. And for some reason, we didn't see him. So on the Sunday morning, he said, I just need to tell you this, that you really impressed me with that act of generosity and kindness. And you said to me, because he said to me, what do you want me to do now? Do you want me to do something for you? And I said, no, just pay it forward. We're very good at paying it forward, aren't we, Jack?
That's what we believe in. Don't pay me back, pay it forward.
So we went to his house, and his garden is like a mini version of Heaven Sent Bliss. And he said, do you know what, Rachel? This statue of this tree spirit man has never really, you know, I don't think he's very happy here. So he gifted it to Rachel. So all of this stuff was just really, really magical and lovely. And since then, he's given us loads of containers of the white spring water, because that is, as you say, all he drinks. So yeah, it's just lovely, lovely, lovely. But again, you know, the magic of Glastonbury for all that to happen. The Blue Note Cafe is great, thoughtful food option with unique touches. Lovely space and atmosphere, indoor and out, lovely location. And what I love especially is, I really love dragons. And there is a giant dragon sculpture statue out of the back of the Blue Note Cafe, basically. They play great music and are always friendly. And then another example of normal for Glastonbury is the 100 Monkeys restaurant. So going back about maybe 6 years ago, my lovely friend Ziggy was living in Benedict Street in Glastonbury. And I'd gone down to visit him, and we decided that day that we were going to write a manifestation list of everything that we wanted to manifest. So as we approached the 100 Monkeys, there were two men playing hang drums. And I said, do you know what? I'm going to add that to my list, because I definitely want a drum like that. So we ate our meal, and then when I went to pay for it, the lady said, oh, I'm really sorry about this, love. Our machine isn't working. You'll have to go down to the co-op, to the cash point, and bring me the money then. So I said, yeah, okay. And as I walked down, I heard this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tank drum.
I've seen that before. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful, isn't it? So I said, I've left my friend at the restaurant while I go and sort the money out. If that drum is still there when I come back, I want it, because that drum was made for me. It's all the colours that I resonate with: magenta, turquoise, purple. But it's also got one of my favourite geometric patterns on. It's got the flower of life on. So I went back, collected Ziggy, and as soon as he heard it, he went, oh my God, I can't believe this. That's your tank drum. So then the lady said, the only difficulty is we've lost the bag that it came in. So she said to Ziggy, go and have a look round the shop. And in 2 minutes, he came back with this beauty.
Beautiful.
With a flower of life on.
Mm.
That just fits my drum perfectly. So we went up the tour and did some lovely stuff. But that is not unusual for Glastonbury, Jack, is it? It really isn't.
So what kind of incredible things happen in Glastonbury? And you meet such beautiful people.
Really do. And they're so generous and they're so inspirational and empowering as well. And I really like the food at the 100 Monkeys. And Ziggy and I have won their record of, we were very, very, what shall I say, inebriated on plant magic.
Never.
And we had...
Annie, you?
I know, shock, horror. And we decided that we were going to have 4 gluten-free desserts each. And they came out and took a photo and said, is it all right if we take a photo of you? And I was like, yeah, please do. Their food is extraordinarily wonderful. They do vegan, they do gluten-free, they do, oh, just the most well thought out menus of things that you'd really want to eat. So they're great. And then Georgian Pilgrim in Glastonbury, built it in the 1400s. The Georgian Pilgrim is the oldest purpose-built pub in the southwest of England, situated in Glastonbury. It is steeped in history and old tales, has fairy art and a great painting of Midsummer Night's Dream on one of the walls. But it's amazing, Jack, isn't it? When you walk in, you can feel the history. They've renovated it beautifully, done all the leaded lights up, but it's just got a really, I don't know, it's got a really high vibrational feel to it.
Oh, it's lovely in there, yeah. What's the other one on the high street, just above St. John's Church? I can't think of the name of it. The pub.
So which side of the road are we on? The same
side
side
as
the Blue Note.
Same side as St. George's Church, as St. John's Church.
So a bit further up, but not so not Rainbow's End, another place.
No, it's a pub.
Oh, is it called the Who'd Have Thought It?
No.
Oh, I'm not.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me anyway.
It will. It will.
Yeah.
So
it's one place I always like to go.
Yeah. So again, this is normal for Glastonbury. I went into the 100 Monkeys with the lovely Rachel. She'd never been to Glastonbury before. And we walked in and I saw this lady who'd got a walking stick with a deer's head on. And I said, oh, I'm really drawn to this. I'm really fascinated by this. And she did the most, while we were queuing to get our table, did the most amazing spiritual healing. She was magical, clairvoyant, medium, told me what all my gifts are, where I've worked previously and what I would achieve in the future with Rachel. And literally that was just a so-called chance meeting, but actually it was really synchronistic.
Mm. There are no chances.
No,
It's all planned.
beautifully orchestrated by the universe, isn't it, Jack? Really is.
What
I
else?
wanted to recommend is Midgard Crafts, which is Unit 9, the Gauntlet on the High Street, and there is a lovely man called Ted the Viking that does pyrography, he does furniture making, he makes pendants, he makes runes, he makes all sorts of stuff. And I've had some of his stuff and it's just best quality. And he is a Viking as well. So he gives you free blessings from Odin when you visit his shop.
Brilliant.
And every time I've gone in there, he's given me a little goddess pendant as well. Just in case I ever forget that I am a goddess.
Not very likely, Annie.
But yeah, all good.
You got any questions, Andrew?
I don't know if you saw, I put a couple of links into the meeting chat. They're about a series of books that I read in the 1980s. The Trumpet Sounds for Britain. And before I read those books, I had no idea that Joseph of Arimathea had been in England.
Yeah.
Or that there was a chapel to the infant Jesus in England. And the people who didn't like these three books, they said it's British Israelism. They're saying that the Brits are one of the lost tribes of Israel. And I wasn't really that bothered. It was just fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought it was somewhere in Cornwall where this house was, where the baby Jesus had been. And that's why I, earlier on in what you were putting across to us here, I found the words to Jerusalem, because that's where it came from, and did those feet in ancient time. This memory that we've got in our culture of Jesus and Joseph of Arimathea being here. And I'd not heard of it until I was reading the books, The Trumpet Sounds for Britain. And there's some very fantastical things in those books. The Angels of Mons, have you heard of that? That there was this battle in the First World War, and the Germans were upon the English army, and there'd been a national day of prayer. And suddenly the Germans all got up and ran away.
Wow.
And they found some Germans to talk to. Why did your people all run away? Did you not see the great army? And the book says it was angels that
yay,
that they thought that the British army thought at that point they were defeated, but because these angels showed up, they just ran.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So I thought it might be good to share those links with you. One is for where to buy the book, but the other is a description of what the books are about, the three of them.
So, thank you, Andrew.
I wanted to share that because that's all I could really add to what was being said here, because as you know, I've not been yet, and I probably would like both of you to take me round as as my guides. But you've already done that with all the information you've given us here.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that Jesus might have gone to Cornwall with Joseph of Arimathea is perfectly feasible. Because Joseph was a metals trader, and he would have gone to the tin mines in Cornwall while he was in southwest England.
And I'm not sure that everyone watching the video would know about the story in the scriptures that Joseph of Arimathea asked for the body of Jesus after the Roman centurion pronounced him dead. Well, they actually stuck a spear in his side. That was just the normal thing that they did, a crucifixion, to make sure that when the blood came away, it was blood and water, not just blood, but there was like a separation of red and white cells. That proved that the victim of the crucifixion had died. And so Joseph of Arimathea asked for the body of Jesus and to put it in his own tomb. And then when you read these books, you find out that he's around in the story. I think he came with Nicodemus to question Jesus about when Jesus said about being born again. He was there. I didn't know any of that stuff till I read the Trumpet Sound for Britain.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. I didn't see that coming. I thought that was the same. I thought that was Jerusalem.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's absolutely.
So where are your favourite pubs and cafes and restaurants, lovely Jack?
Well, have you been to the new one in Benedict Street?
Yes, it's I can't remember what the cuisine is.
It's a very nice little cafe. And I went in there a few times just before the holiday, but they didn't seem to be open after the holidays. So I don't know whether they've closed or whether they're just having a week off.
Is it Moroccan or something like that?
No, it's English.
Oh, right. And it's not the same place I was thinking of them. Rachel and I definitely had something that was Moroccan cuisine, things that we didn't even know what they were, but they went through it. They really explained to us what everything was.
Right.
But they had things like stuffed vine leaves as well, which I'm particularly fond of.
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah. I went into the 100 Monkeys. I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. But maybe I went in on a bad day.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they're always lovely to me. They're always lovely to me. And usually they have got nearly as good gluten-free carrot cake as Rainbow's End. Nearly.
I didn't try the carrot cake. Next time I'll try the carrot cake.
Yeah, try the carrot cake. Or there are other gluten-free options. I think I had chocolate and praline tarts when I was there as well, and dairy-free. I think it was coconut cream. So yeah, it was absolutely delicious, Jack.
Right. Well, I think we've done a good show. We've done nearly an hour and a half.
Oh, oops.
So let's wind it up.
Okay, lovely.
Thank you very much, dear Annie.
Thank you, Jack.
And thank you for making a good show, Andrew.
Yes, thank you, Andrew, for those links. That's really good.
Sorry about the singing earlier.
And
why are you apologising? Don't apologise. No,
thanks to all the people. Thanks to all the people who are listening to the replay on YouTube.
Indeed.
If you're on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe, because that helps us reach more people, and that's very much appreciated.
Indeed.
And we'll be back.
And go and visit Glastonbury.
Oh yeah, you must visit Glastonbury. We're going to make it a condition of watching these that you've been to Glastonbury. We're not sure what we're going to be talking about next week. We liked your idea, Andrew, about the quantum jumping.
But we realised we'd need to add a lot more to it to make it an hour's programme.
Yeah, so maybe we'll tie it in with some of Joe Dispenza's work and some of that kind of
stuff. And Lynn McTaggart, is it The Field?
Yeah.
We could tie it in with that, couldn't we? Make it longer.
But it'll take a lot of researching, so maybe not in time for next week, maybe the week after.
Okay.
We shall see what happens.
We will indeed. All right, my lovelies. Have a wonderful evening. Namaste.
Namaste. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.